Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sport topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Russell Jackman. Mike McDowd is off today. He's on assignment, as we say. At each commercial break, we are going to ask a trivia question. We got 3 trivia questions here. Let's see. One's extremely hard. One you may know. And one, we'll see. I mean, it's almost like multiple choice.
We'll see if I care.
You see if you care. Okay. When we get back, we're going to talk about Travis Kelce signing a new deal and the Seahawks giving Jackson Smith-Njigba a huge deal. Talk a little bit about the NCAA double tournament. And I want to ask you about using AI for betting on games and see how that is going to change things. And what topics are you going to want to cover, my friend, when we get back?
Death of a legendary wrestler.
Another one. And we're not talking about Chuck Norris because he was not a wrestler.
No, although he was definitely a big figure in the fighting world. So
yeah,
Chuck Norris as well.
Very cool. And okay, you know what? I'm just for fun, I'm going to give you the silly joke of the week. So I know how it's going to end for me. One of my kids will unplug my life support just to charge their cell phone. Can you relate to that? No, my kids love me.
I would have considered that with my own father. Yes.
Even in fact, even my little granddaughter knows Papa. And she hasn't seen me for a while, but she's not even 2 years old, but she remembers Papa. All right, audience, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Russell Jackman. All right, so first of all, Travis Kelce signs a 3-year, $54.7 million deal. Wasn't he talking about retiring?
He's never going to make it to 3 years. The Chiefs are going to, like, year 2 and 3. Year 2, he'll probably be really a fraction of what he was. In year 3, they're going to have to buy him out.
How old is he now?
He's like one of the oldest players in the game. I think he's like 39, 40 or something, 38.
Yeah, it's one thing when you're a quarterback and you have a little bit of protection like Brady, but when you're...
He'd already been slowing down. He was not what he was last year. I mean, you could clearly see. And he's going to have to get used to another quarterback there, because they won't have Mahomes for the first X number of games. Yeah, I think it's more so they can keep Swift keep going.
I was going to say, I wonder if maybe she's going to pony up some of the money so that they can keep him.
Yeah, or no, it's the other way around. I think that Chiefs fans, the Chiefs make a ton of money when Taylor Swift hints that she'll be in the audience. And so it pays off. They probably can justify Travis Kelce's salary.
But all she does is stay in the booth. Right?
What?
All she does is stay in the booth.
But people just want to say they saw her. She's such a
brother.
phenomenon.
I saw her on TV once.
Well, she's got like that status of where the Beatles were. That if you can say that you were in a stadium where she was live, even though she didn't say anything, you didn't actually see her. She was just, her physical presence was there. It still is something that you can brag to your great-grandchildren about. That, by the way, will not care one iota that you were anywhere near Taylor Swift, because they will say, who the hell was Taylor Swift?
Well, I would say, you know what, I'll do that now and just say I was in the same United States as she was.
I mean, when I tell my kids half the bands that I've seen,
they don't have
any idea who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter sort of understands like some of the Haight Ashbury, Summer of Love musicians. She kind of gets them, but if I said that I saw Quicksilver Messenger Service, she would just put up her hands and say, "I have no idea who that is."
I mean, they're kind of famous, but I mean, I saw the Doobie Brothers, Fleetwood Mac, Gary Wright.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a Those guys were a big deal back in the 70s.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
about Summer of Love, because I actually, believe it or not, one of my questions has to do with Woodstock.
Really? Okay.
And I'll be really surprised if you get this one.
Well, it
Really.
depends. I mean, I've seen the documentary, so that might help a
Yeah,
little bit.
I saw one too. And what was, like, four people died and there were three babies or something weird. It's like,
Well, I mean, it was, there was like almost no police presence there, except on the very outskirts of it. There were no, now when you go see a concert, they have a health tent, and they have paramedics that are there, and they have, everyone has cell phones. They can call for help if somebody's
sure.
got a problem. Back then, I mean, I don't even know where the nearest payphone probably was. It was probably a good, like, 2 mile walk into town or whatever, and a lot of people, because of the rain, got stuck tremendously, in the mud and the gunk, because the roads weren't, I mean, they were, in a field out in the middle of nowhere. So there were no actual roads. It was all dirt paths to get into
Oh
Woodstock.
yeah, that's right. I keep
And then
thinking of
it
the
rained.
Altamont Path, but that was a different
Yeah.
concert.
I mean, you know what? Like, I know people are really into Burning Man
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And maybe I'm sounding really old, but even when I was a young person, I didn't want to go to Burning Man.
Oh
I just
no,
did.
I know. I mean, I wasn't that young when it started, but just the idea of once you get up there, then you got to drive 50 miles on terrible roads, and there's nothing out there, and it's like, I mean, it's one thing to drive like 2 miles on no man's land, but 50 miles, it's just like that. That's just ridiculous
I
to
mean, you
me.
have to bring everything in with you. Every drop of water you drink, every morsel of food that you eat, and you got to have your own first aid kit. You have to have, no monies exchanged. So if you
Yeah.
want to get anything, you have to barter stuff. So you have to bring stuff you can barter, or maybe you can make, or
Yeah.
do something to. Yeah, it's not. Although I have a friend of mine who is one of the originators
Oh.
of a thing called the Wild Wasteland Weekend down in San Diego,
Uh-huh.
and they do like the Burning Man thing, but they do it all like it was the apocalypse.
Huh.
So everybody is all dressed up like Mad Max,
Oh yeah.
and and
Huh.
people that are all post-apocalyptic, and people bring all these fake guns, and it's fake, fake.
I know, but that could still be a little dangerous. But that reminds. It's funny. Do you remember the year that the Burning Man, someone had accidentally started it on fire like a day or two before it was supposed to?
Oh yeah, I know all about that because my cousin used to do the lighting for Burning Man.
Oh
He
wow.
used to work at ILM,
Yeah.
and the crew that he worked with would all go up to Burning Man and set the lights up that shine on Burning Man.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, he was very disturbed with the fact that it burned well before its time, because there's a whole light show
Yeah.
built into it before they set it on fire. And so, like that totally undercut all the work that they had come up there to go do. There was nothing to put lights on because it was all burned out.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
my cousin missed out on. I mean, he's done it for like 20 years, so
Oh
that
wow.
was one time that he missed out
I
on
mean,
it. But otherwise,
I'm trying to think, how many hours does it take to get there from the Bay Area?
oh, it's like about 12,
12. Yeah.
and that's if everything goes right. If
Yeah.
something goes wrong, you can be in traffic, stuck on that 50-mile road into the dirt area for 20 hours. I mean, there's nothing that can
If
keep you.
it's all dirt, if that's all like open dirt, can't you just kind of figure out a way to go around people?
No, because it's all environmentally protected.
Okay.
So you do that, and the rangers come find you,
Oh
and
wow.
they'll. In fact, on a completely aside, I know we're supposed to be talking about sports, but two Petaluma guys just got in trouble for pulling down a woolly mammoth tusk and breaking it at a museum in I think it was in North Dakota. But
Oh.
And they're from Petaluma, which is right where we do the show.
You know what? Why do people vandalize like that? Just leave it. Leave a
And it
museum.
was stupid. Like the guy wanted to go up and grab the and hang him,
Oh,
and
hang on.
swing from it. He wanted to
Oh,
swing from it. And of course it broke off
yeah.
and shattered, something that was, millions of years old, and they're gonna hold him on the hook for $200,000 worth of damage.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I don't know how they figure out the the value of that.
Well,
Not
they
not
said,
millions of years, trillions of years. Come
well,
on, Russ, you got to get with the times. It's we're trillion. In fact, quadrillions of years now. We all get older. It's all quadrillions of years now. Okay, you ready for our first trivia question here? All right, here we go. In fact, this is the one that has to do with Woodstock. Who was the youngest performer at Woodstock in 1969? Now, you're not going to probably get it just from that, so I'll give you a hint, and I don't know how much of a hint this is, but I'll give it to you anyway. He had, and I think it was 1975, a one-hit wonder. So he was with a band at Woodstock. He wasn't by himself, but then broke off on his own, and he had a one-hit wonder. And it was kind of I like the song, actually. I remember it very well in 1975. It had a good tune to it. It was kind of sort of an interesting, like, why would you have a song about this? But okay. So that's our trivia question. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ. Don't touch that dial. We are going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman. Mike McDowell will probably be with us next week. He's off on assignment now. All right, first trivia question. This has to do with Woodstock. Who was the youngest performer at Woodstock in 1969? I don't have his age, but I don't know. Maybe he was like 18 or something. Who knows? And the hint is he had a one-hit wonder in 1975.
Can you tell me the one-hit wonder?
You might get it from that. Shannon. Shannon has gone away. It's drifting out.
Okay. No, I was thinking Guthrie.
Guthrie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know he was. I don't think he was that young then. No, Henry Gross of Sha Na. I didn't know that Sha Na was at Woodstock. I love it.
Oh, I did know they were at Woodstock. In fact, I think they went on before Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, did they? I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I remember they even had. Didn't they have their own show?
Yes. And it was all 50 stuff, and they were completely out of place for.
Yeah, but I mean, I like their doo-wop type music. Okay, let's get back to sports. So the Seahawks are.
Wait, I'm gonna interrupt you because I'm gonna say you're jumping over one thing, which is the fact that in 2 days it is opening day for Major League Baseball.
Baseball, yes. And
so we should talk a little bit about
that. Of course. Now, which team? Here's a little trivia question for you. They may have changed it, but for many, many, many years, which team traditionally had always been the first team to play?
Oh, really?
And there's a reason for it.
Yankees.
What?
The Yankees?
Nope. The Cincinnati Reds, because they were the original Cincinnati Redlegs, the Red Stockings, and they had, from 1869, they were considered the first professional baseball team. So that's why traditionally they would say they'd have to be the first one to play. But I think they finally, they got rid of that tradition.
Yeah, now it's just anybody's.
So we will talk about baseball in a minute. But the Seahawks give Jackson Smith and Jigba a 4-year, $168.6 million extension. That's like over $42 million a year.
That's why Kenneth Walker isn't a Seahawk any longer, and why they lost a lot of other players.
But I'm looking at this and going, who's worth that much? Listen, no offense to him. He's a great player. He's a really nice guy. Who's worth $168 million?
If you want to keep your players after you win a Super Bowl, the price of it goes up exponentially. And there's a reason why, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't win 3 in a row. And now they're coming down to earth. And there's a reason why you might not see a repeat NFL champion for a while, because every player looks at winning a Super Bowl as now's the time to cash in.
Yeah.
This is my payday.
Yeah.
I don't owe anything to the team. The team owes it to me because I got him the Super Bowl.
I wonder how much he was making before. I don't know that off the top of my head.
You combine that with the hard salary cap in football, and we are going to see teams that are going to run out of money, or they're going to have 2-star players and everybody else working on minimum contracts. And it's kind of what's happening.
It's also so frustrating. It's like, I remember the old days in baseball, the guys would be with a team for a really long time. And then now you turn around and it's all sports are like that. Wait, we got that guy on our team now? Wait, where'd our good player? Wait, he's on that team now? I mean, they really work that way. In fact, if you remember, we weren't old enough for that. We weren't even born. But back in the old days, in baseball, before they had numbers on the back of their jerseys, eventually they came out with numbers, and that's where they were able to, sell the programs and let everybody know, okay, who was batting. Because, if you're up in the stands, I mean, they still had 50, 60,000 people come to baseball because it was really popular in the early 1900s. And, nobody knew who was up at bat, right? And the way I don't know if it was actually a rule, but there was a time when your number was based on your batting order. That's why Ruth was number 3 and Gehrig was number 4. And now eventually Mickey Mantle was 7. I can't remember 5. Oh, Joe DiMaggio. But he came a little bit later. But that's how they did it. So it's like, but what? You're not allowed to switch your lineup? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, back then, well, of course, Ruth, he went from from Boston. Originally, I think he got recruited by Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken, but immediately went to Boston, and then the curse of the Bambino. But after that, I mean, he stayed with them for a long time. Gehrig, I think, Gehrig only played for like 12 years, but he was always a Yankee. But nowadays, these guys, it's like kind of crazy, Right?
Well, back then you didn't even have free agency, so the guys were, once they signed, they could just continue to be held by a contract. They'd sign a contract for 10 years and they couldn't just walk out of it. I mean, the exact opposite is a guy like Trent Williams for the 49ers, who refuses to honor any contract he's ever been signed to for the last 5 years. Every year he threatens to hold out, no matter how long the Niners have him signed for. They have him under another contract for another year. But he'll sit out, or he'll extract a bunch more money from the 49ers. And like Kelsey, I think he wants like 3 years, where the Niners, at age 38, the Niners are not going to offer him a 3-year contract. They want a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And then you have situations like Jawan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk, who haven't signed with anyone because they thought that their value was going to be way over the top. And it turns out that the rest of the league doesn't value them as much as they value themselves, or as the 49ers would probably value.
Didn't Le'Veon Bell stay out a whole year from Pittsburgh? And then
Le'Veon Bell, he ruined my fantasy football season on purpose, just to ruin my fantasy football season. I picked the jerk number 1 overall, figuring he's going to at least sign somewhere with some team or get traded, and he didn't do either. And then he went to the Jets, and his career was over in 1 year or 2 years. He went from being one of the most promising running backs in NFL history to being a complete footnote and maybe a poster boy for why you don't hold out for a whole year, especially at running back.
Well, Ayuk is kind of that same way right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Well, he didn't hold out. He just had a really bad attitude, and just he wouldn't go to practice. He wouldn't, show up to team meetings, even though he was under contract. So
he was hurt, but then
he was hurt. And then it was time for him to come back. He refused to come back, and he refused to do what was necessary, except drive by the stadium at 100 miles per hour and post that on social media, which was also, what the heck's going on there? Yeah.
That's what
So
frustrates me. I mean, it definitely frustrates me when these players sign a contract and then it's like they don't have to do it. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'd like to see the owners do that and just say, we paid you, but you know what? You really had a bad year, so you got to give back 90% of the money.
it's called
Yeah,
a lockout. We're probably going to see that in baseball next year. We're probably going to see a lockout in baseball next year.
a lockout. Yeah, that's different than
Yeah.
then basically, you know what? We decided not to pay you this week just because we decided not to. I mean, yeah, let's see how that works out, right?
Well, but the owners have painted themselves into a corner where, in baseball, where, like things like the Otani contract and some of these other contracts for newer players have gotten so outrageous that
Yeah.
they can't really afford. They've put themselves in a spending situation that they can't maintain. And baseball, I do feel, does need some kind of salary cap, and it needs a salary floor for teams like the A's that just pocket the money and don't spend it back on the team and continue to put a crappy product on the field year after year after year. Or as soon as they get some decent talent, the first thing they do is sell it off to the Yankees and to the Dodgers and to Boston and so forth.
That's why, as a fan, it's really kind of hard to even root for your home team because you don't recognize players anymore.
Yeah, and when you're lucky enough to find a great player and maybe raise that player up and grow that player, as soon as their contract is up, they go to the big cities, the LAs and to New York and Boston and maybe Chicago. They'll go there instead of staying where they're at. And, you're just seeing this kind of talent depletion and this just collection by the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers could right now send their, spring league team.
Oh, yeah.
That was my thought, is what the Dodgers would do is like do a split squad thing where the first half of the season you just play all like your spring league. You play your farm league guys and just give all your starters all the rest. After the All-Star, you just bring them all up.
You know what? I mean, because you know how these guys get when the season comes towards the end. A lot of them, they get really tired, especially in basketball. But okay, here we go. Here's the second trivia question. What does Wi-Fi stand for?
Oh, okay.
What does Wi-Fi stand for? All right, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch the dial. When we come back, I want to ask you who the favorite is for the NCAA tournament and about people using AI to bet on games. All right, don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Russell Jackman. And our trivia question number 2, what does Wi-Fi stand for?
Wireless fidelity?
No, it's a trick question. It doesn't stand for anything. It's just a brand name.
Oh, I thought like hi-fi was high fidelity.
Yeah, that's true.
So Wi-Fi to me, I thought meant wireless fidelity.
I mean, that would totally make sense. But I don't know who came up with it and what it does. I'm sorry for giving you a trick question. I shouldn't have done that.
Okay, I actually was under the impression it meant fidelity.
So I thought it meant something, but okay. Usually you have a hard.
I'll ask you a question. What does scuba stand for? Most people don't understand that scuba.
Contained underwater breathing apparatus.
There, that's good. A lot of people don't know that it's actually an abbreviation for something.
I learned that when I did one of our trivia questions like 10 years ago.
And radar also is an acronym. Radar is also radar. Is also.
What does that stand for? So,
now I know it's an acronym, but I have to look up.
Question,
it's like
the answer.
Radio activated direct antenna something. I think.
All right. Well, here let's we'll put that on the shelf for a minute. So Econ, to me, I think they look to be the favorite for the NCAA tournament. What do you think?
Radio detection and ranging.
Okay. Now we know what radar stands for.
Thank you.
Um,
I already told you it was Michigan, and you scoffed at me. And here they are in the Sweet 16.
didn't scoff. I was just asking if it was
Scoff,
Michigan State or Michigan.
scoff, scoff. We can go back through the tapes
I
and
scoff. I don't scoff. I don't make fun of you either. Okay, so you're gonna stay with Michigan.
yeah.
I'm gonna stay, and I'm gonna go UConn.
Okay.
All right, we'll see.
When I was a little kid, I thought Yukon meant like the Yukon. So I was always wondering why they would have a basketball
Alaska.
team.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, in the main parts of Alaska.
Well,
Well,
it does
they have the Huskies as their mascot, right?
the Huskies. Well, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was something up in the Canadian provinces.
Well, you know,
I was like,
I mean, when you say Yukon, you can't tell the difference in how you say it.
no,
Okay.
no. So I really thought it was YUKON. So
Well, you know what's
there's
funny? I didn't know that going back to music, I didn't know the Beatles. I didn't realize the Beatles spelt their name differently than the Beatles.
oh, with the BEAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just,
yes.
I never, I mean, it didn't even dawn on me until I was in my 50s. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's not how you spell Beetle.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Okay, here's a weird trivia question for you. So I'm gonna guess it's a parody of the Beatles. There was a Gilligan's Island episode where a band came, and again, you're talking probably 1964, 65. What was the name of that band?
Oh man. I'm also thinking of like the Flintstones did that too. They had a Beatles parody group.
They did, and it was they were from Sweden.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Oli and Sven.
Yabba dabba dabba doo. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Oli and Sven.
That's
I do
right.
remember
Oli
that.
and Sven. He is Oli. I'm Sven.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And they had the old Wilma song.
That's right. And, okay, are you ready?
I Wilma.
If you're ready.
But that
what was the name of the
man.
Gilligan's Island one?
Oh man. And I know that Thurston Howell was trying to sign them to a contract. He wanted to. He was I do remember their producer was there with him, and that was
Not Harold Hecuba. That was Phil Silvers.
Harold Hecuba. Yes.
Now, Phil Silvers. That was not. That was a different episode.
Oh, that was a different episode. Then I can't think of it.
Okay.
What was their name?
They were called the Mosquitoes.
Oh, obviously on the insects.
Yes, that's why it was a parody on that. Okay.
Well, hopefully the Flintstone trivia thing covers me.
Yes, it does.
Having watched too much.
Okay, so that's something where some people are using AI, like for trying to figure out bets. Like specifically, they're doing it now for the NCAA tournament. And I thought, gosh, you know what? That could go into all kinds of, be it football, baseball, whatever. I wonder how much AI is going to be used. Oh, I know what I was going to bring up. Remember, I said something from the 70s. So you were too young for this because I'm older than you. In the 1970s, there was a guy named Joe Granville who was this guru on the stock market. Now, before he got famous, he had like a newsletter, and he was phenomenal. What ended up happening, though, he was so good that it's sort of like Nancy Pelosi with the stocks. Okay, people started being really in tune, right? What ended up happening was he got so famous that he couldn't do as good a job because now he was affecting the market, whereas before he was behind the scenes, right? So he ended up going downhill like crazy because people thought, in fact, he thought the market was going to crash, and when it was on like 700. And it went, it's in the early 1980s, it just went through the roof, right?
It's hard to beat the market being 700 when it's like 40.
I remember when the market went up 34 points, and we were all like, "Oh my God, this is unheard of." I remember that 1982. So anyway, so using this AI situation of betting, I wonder how that's going to change things. Where
why? Of course, AI is going to be used for betting. What else would human beings? AI has been used for two major things that people should have seen coming way ahead of time. One is to do deep fake of porn, to generate porn stuff using AI.
Okay.
and the second is gambling. I mean, those are like two of the easiest human vices to
So I
influence.
guess so is it sort of like like the movie Moneyball where they like the AI kind of figures out all the statistics?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
all
what.
the,
Okay,
and it
but then
go
here's
back
the thing,
to
though.
like,
What ends up happening though is if everybody's going to bet a certain way, change that so that sure you may have the odds of the Yankees beating the A's or 10-1, let's
you
say.
say odds makers, I say organized crime.
Okay, well, I'll let you say that, not me. But be that as it may, I'm just wondering
They
how.
still haven't gotten to the bottom of that whole NBA betting scandal thing. And that was at the beginning of the season, and they've completely buried it. The NBA is about to play the entire season through, and no conclusion has been brought as
That's a
far
good.
as that investigation
We
goes.
forgot about that. They did a good job
Exactly.
of burying that.
That's what the NBA did its job by distracting you and by saying there's other stuff to pay attention to. Look over here. Here's our dunk contest. Look over there. There's the Emirates Cup. Look over here. We've got Cooper Flag, Wembanyama, and LeBron James, and the drama with the Warriors and all this stuff. Don't pay attention to what's behind the curtain.
Good point.
And that's, if I've had one message that's consistent throughout, how long have I done this show now? Like 7 years, 6, 7 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have one message that I've never deviated from, and that is don't bet on sports. Just don't.
You have never deviated from that, and I agree with you. And I'm the same way too.
Yeah, and people will think AI gives them the edge, and it won't. There'll be ways that AI will fail, and that somebody will undercut what AI is doing. And a player now, that's one of the things is that now that you can bet on player statistics, individual player statistics, whether a guy is going to get 5 rebounds in a game, whether a guy is going to get 4 assists in a game, will this guy shoot 50%? Will he shoot?
Well, then you get back into the improprieties, let's call it, of betting, right?
Well, yeah, and individual players now can control so much of what is bet on them.
Yeah.
That I would never feel confident because all you have to do is hit a guy on a bad day.
Yeah.
Maybe he and his girlfriend have been arguing all night long.
Or a guy tanks. He's got a side bet somewhere, and AI can't. There's no way AI is going to be able to figure that out.
No, or worst of all, and I think we're going to start seeing a trend here is people are going to start betting on themselves through proxies. So
I'm sure
you're going to have
already, right?
and maybe betting against themselves.
What's going to happen when you have someone hack into AI?
Yeah, or you have people starting to bet by proxy against themselves.
Well,
that is the greatest danger of all.
It's one thing if you, and again, I'm not saying I don't condone one or the other, but it's one thing if you bet on yourself to do well. Of course, the thing is, if you bet, I'm going to score 35 points today, you're going to kind of hog the ball, right? And so that obviously that's not going to work. But let's say if you're in baseball, maybe you can say I'm going to go 3 for 4 today. I mean, that it's still not.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do.
I mean, but if you're going to go, I'm going to strike out 4 times. Yeah, you can. That way, you can control the bad stuff. You can't control the good.
Easy to accomplish. Very easy. That's why, as I said, I think that when the true story comes out on Pete Rose, it'll be that he bet on himself to lose, that he bet against his own team to lose, so that he would make money by making managerial shortcuts and not playing his best players.
So he claimed he never bet on his own team to lose, right?
I am saying he was a habitual liar that you couldn't trust. If he said that the sun was coming up the next day, you were getting up at 5 a.m. just to make sure.
Yeah, because it is kind of. It is. I mean, I can definitely. I don't know him personally. I know he's passed on now, but I I think, yeah, I could definitely see him trying to make himself in a little bit of a better light by saying, okay, I finally do admit that I gambled on my team, but I only gambled on them to win, you know? And it's just like,
Gambling is such a bad disease. Gambling is such a bad disease that when you get really sucked into it, you just like someone that is addicted to something, you'll do anything
yeah.
to win,
And
including lose
then
to
what
win.
about these guys who end up, like suing, the casinos, right? You
They
should
never
have
win, though.
stopped me from doing it. And it's like, geez, not sure if
There was a guy in Germany. There's a guy in Germany who bought some Mexican food that had a bunch of salsa on it, and then he got his stomach upset because it was too spicy, and he sued the restaurant for not warning him enough that salsa was going to be spicy for him.
wow.
Even though he didn't just like try a little bit and then decide it was too spicy for him. He piled the salsa on, like a mountain of it on his food, then ate it and got, ill.
Yeah.
And the judge just said, get out of here.
Oh, good. I'm glad the judge did say get out of there. Okay, ready for this? Here's our third trivia question. Which planet, see, you only have so many planets to choose from, right? Has confirmed water ice, it says water ice, I don't know why it says water ice, at its south pole, according to NASA missions. Which planet has confirmed water ice? I guess.
Oh, which planet? I thought you said which plant. I was like,
planet. And I'll tell you,
Okay.
it's not Earth. Okay, so you can knock that one off, and you can knock Pluto off because they decided that's not a planet anymore, even though it is. All right, audience, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman. Third trivia question, which planet has confirmed water ice at its south pole according to NASA missions?
Neptune?
No, Mars.
Mars.
How'd you get that one? Okay,
Now,
you have a joke to make.
There's a rumor that there are aliens out there who eat planets, but they found out that they actually prefer asteroids. And why is that?
So aliens don't eat planets, but they prefer asteroids. Why?
Because asteroids are a little meteor.
Oh, that's actually pretty cute. I like that. I like that.
I've been waiting all week to throw that joke
all week.
So.
Did your kids give you that one?
No, I just collected it from my various musings on the internet. So
okay, yeah, well, boy, that's a dad joke for you. I'm very proud of you for coming up with a good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be here all week.
All right, you ready? Okay, so here's our thoughts for the day. An optimist is someone who figures that taking a step backward after taking a step forward is not a disaster. It's more like the cha-cha-cha. That's pretty cute. Yeah. Okay. And Elvis Presley said this: if you let your head get too big, it'll break your neck. I like that too.
Well, he let his colon get too big and it broke his insides.
Wait, what got too big?
He let his colon get too big.
He'd eat like 2 minutes before he'd go out on stage. That's but you know what though? You never really saw, he always seemed, at least in the beginning, to have a humble spirit. He started off as a gospel singer, and then, he always seemed to kind of, he never got too big for himself. I mean, well, physically he did.
Colonel Tom Parker helps push him over the edge.
Wait, who did? Colonel
Tom Parker, his promoter.
Oh yeah, you know what I did see? Yeah. Boy, that was a tough one. All right. Next week, the Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios.